fan communities are becoming more self-aware, right? They know that if they want to keep their show on the air, they all have to tweet at 9 p.m. on a Sunday evening to show everyone that they love this show, so that it wins in Nielsen's social TV Twitter rankings every week, right? They're now getting to the point where they're actually pre-programming their tweets to go out, even if they're not going to watch, because viewing habits have changed, right? I may not watch this episode for another 7 days, for another month, but I know that if I don't tweet now and show my support in this moment, because this is what's important to the network, then there may not be a next season. So I'm going to do this, right? And I'm going to tell all my friends to do this. I'm going to tell other fans to do this, right? The days of all the fans getting together to send in letters to the network has changed, right? No one's sending letters anymore. Everyone knows what's important is what happens in the network itself, in the internet itself, right, as opposed to the broadcast network. All of this is very much an extension of what's been happening with music fan communities for the past several years. The genius of genius of Justin Bieber, I don't mean the person, but the phenomenon of Justin Bieber, was the rise of the Beliebers themselves, the Justin Bieber's fans, who every day would get together and try to figure out some new way of getting a version of his name to trend on Twitter, right? And these are young fans who have they have a lot of time in their hands, right? They're in school and they're not going not having to work, and they have an amazing imaginations, and so they would get together to try to figure out, let's all tweet with with Justin Bieber's name at the same time, so all of a sudden it shows up in trending topics, and like, oh my God, there it is, right? And they realize, oh, let's try to do a different version. Like, we all believe in Bieber, right? And so that would trend. And all of a sudden, like half of the trends, and when you look at the trending topics, would all be about Justin Bieber. And people start getting upset. They're like, what is this? What's going on? Why is that? Why is everyone's not going to be talking about Justin Bieber? What's going on? And so Twitter had to go, and they actually had to change their math, right? They had to change their algorithm to be able to try to filter some of this out. And so the Beliebers didn't stop. They just got smarter. And they're like, oh, well, let's spell Belieber with a 3 instead of an E. Let's just use the word believe instead of Bieber, right? Things that people would still recognize as being about Justin Bieber. And so all of a sudden there was this arms race between probably thousands, if not tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of young fans of this pop star versus the machines, right? Each trying to figure out how to outdo one another. When Justin Bieber became less popular and One Direction became popular, oh my God, the Directioners picked up from where the Beliebers left off, right? And they do the same thing. With fan communities becoming self-aware, these sort of assemblages of fans becoming self-aware, they're being a more active participant in not just the creation of celebrity, but the creation of story, the creation of meaning, the creation of heroes, the creation of myths in ways that we haven't necessarily seen before. And that I think, when we talk about where narrative is going, and when we talk about what narrative looks like in a networked environment, which isn't about a central authority, and is more about possibly spreading the elements of story, of character, of relationship amongst dozens, and then hundreds, and then thousands, and then tens of thousands, and then millions of people, it looks a lot different. It plays out a lot different. Even if the thing that we try to do at the center looks like a straight narrative, the way that story ends up manifesting, if we let it grow, if we let the thing sort of behave the way it kind of wants to in a networked environment, doesn't mean it's right, it doesn't mean it's true, it doesn't mean that this is the way that story has always wanted to be, but within this environment that we've built, if we let the thing flourish, we're going to see some amazing shit.